Welcome to today's English session. I am DS Chakravarti, Assistant Professor of English, Government Degree College for Women, Karimnagar. In the last session, we have already introduced to the topic one word substitutions and we learned that it is a part of the vocabulary building process. In this session, we are going to focus on more one word substitute words so that we can increase our vocabulary faster. Let's begin with the first one. Contemporaries, and the meaning is belonging to or living at the same time. So historically speaking, if two people are living at the same time, then we can call them contemporaries. This word has nothing to do with the word temporary. Though it appears these two words are similar, temporary and contemporary, actually there is no relation between these two words. So contemporary is about two people who are living at the same time. Let's see an example to understand the concept better. So here we can see Gandhi and Nehru, and they are called contemporaries. So Gandhi is a contemporary to Nehru and vice versa. The next word is cloakroom, and the meaning is a place for luggage at railway station. So if you are in traveling, you are going somewhere and you reach a bus stand or a railway station, but you have to deposit your luggage at the bus station or the railway station so that you have to complete several works, then you can avail this facility. Cloakroom is a place at a bus station or a railway station where you can keep your luggage in a safe custody by paying a little amount. And let's see one image to understand cloakroom better. Here is an example for cloakroom. Here is an image for cloakroom. We can see the word cloakroom here. So all the passengers are in a line to deposit their luggage, and when you deposit your luggage you will be given a receipt, and after producing the receipt again when you come back, then your luggage will be delivered. So this is all about cloakroom. Next one word substitution is cynosure. The meaning is center of attraction. Usually some people, they are always center of attraction, and occasionally everyone is the center of attraction, especially on celebrations and ceremonies like birthday, marriage anniversary or wedding day. We will be the center of attraction. So cynosure means a person who is the center of attraction. And let's see one image to understand the concept better. So the person who is in spotlight, that means the focus is on the particular person. He is the center of attraction in a particular party or in a particular event. The next one word substitution is connoisseur. Connoisseur, the meaning is a critical judge of any art and craft. Usually we have connoisseurs of music, that means a person who is an expert in music, and connoisseurs of food, that means the person is an expert in food. These kind of experts will be invited as judges in the events. For example, if a person is a connoisseur of choreography, that means dance, whenever there is a dance competition he is invited as a judge so that he can give us the critical analysis of the participants performance. So this is all about connoisseur. The next one word substitute is crusade. Crusade is a religious war, a war which is fought between two religions. Historically speaking, there are some crusades which were fought. They were the series of battles which were fought between the major religions at the time, that are Christians and Muslims. The next one is choreographer. Just now we discussed about choreography. Choreography is nothing but the art of dancing, and choreographer is a person who teaches dancing, is called a choreographer. Whenever we watch a movie, we find the rolling titles and we see choreography by a particular person. That means in that movie all the dance movements were composed by that particular choreographer. Because of these dance shows in the TVs, rise of choreography is already we can see in these days. Cacographist, a person who is bad in spellings. Occasionally we do all types of mistakes in writing spellings. Occasionally, not regularly. Sometimes we may be confused with the words and we spell them wrongly. But cacographist is a person who does the mistakes all the time, regularly. If a person makes mistakes, then we can call him a cacographist. Cacographist is a person who is bad in spellings. The next word is calligraphist. Calligraphy is a very popular word which is in trend these days, and the meaning is a person who is skilled in good and fine handwriting. The art of good handwriting is called calligraphy, and the person who is skilled in that art is called a calligraphist. So, what is calligraphy? Calligraphy is writing letters in a wonderful way, beautiful way, and we can find there are so many calligraphy courses are also available in institutions, either online or offline. The next word is cynic or cynical. The meaning is one who sneers at the aims and beliefs of his fellow men. That means one who doesn't believe in his fellow men, or one who believes that all his fellow men are selfish and they are always trying to save themselves, they are always running behind their own fame and popularity. That's why he doesn't have faith in them, he doesn't like them. This is called cynicism, and the particular person is called cynic. The next one word substitute is convalescent. Convalescent is the word which came from the word convalescence, and that is recovery from illness. After being in bed from a after being in bed from an illness, if you start recovering because of the treatment that you received from the doctor, what happens? You gradually recover. This recovery is called convalescence, and the patient who recovers is called convalescent. So the meaning is obvious. One who is recovering from illness is called convalescent. The next word is cavalry. Cavalry is a word which is related to battles and wars. So what is actually cavalry? Soldiers who fight on horseback. So these are the soldiers who are mounted on the horses and they fight from the horses. Here we can see a wonderful image of cavalry. And we also know that in the ancient times, the soldiers fought mounted on the elephants also and camels as well. The next one is cardiologist, and this is a very popular word which is understood by everyone, which is familiar to every student. Cardiologist is a person who is specialist in heart diseases. So whenever you are having some pain or some uneasiness in your heart or in your chest, if you suspect that that could be a heart attack, then you immediately rush it to the cardiologist, who is a specialist in heart diseases. In the same manner, we have lung specialist. We call him in scientific language or the medical terminology as pulmonologist. That means lung specialist or chest specialist is called pulmonologist. Kidney specialist, nephrologist. Skin specialist, dermatologist. Eye specialist, ophthalmologist. So these are the names we need to remember so that we can have an idea on the vocabulary of medical terms. So this is all about cardiologist. Let's look at the picture of a cardiologist. So here we can see a picture of a cardiologist. Cartographer. Cartographer is a word which is derived from cartography, a study of maps. So cartographer is a person who draws maps. We have already acquainted with the maps in our high school, in especially in the social studies subject. We have the India map, political, physical, and the world map, and also the Telangana, Andhra Pradesh maps. So let's see one example for cartographer. Let's see an image for cartographer. So here is a cartographer who is drawing a map. The next one, dormitory. In short, we can call DOM, DORM. DOM is the short version. And the meaning is the sleeping rooms with several beds, especially in a college or an institution. So whenever you are joined in a hostel, you may find a big hall which consists of so many beds. That is called a dormitory. So if you have only 3 or 4 beds in your room, we can't call it a dormitory. But if you can find a great number of beds in a room, a lengthy hall, then we can call it a dormitory. Let's see one image to understand what is a dorm actually. So here is a dorm or a dormitory. Here we can see there is place for so many people. It is an accommodation for so many people in one big hall. The next one, drawn. This is not a word that is related to the verb draw, but this is a word which we can see in sports and games, especially in chess and cricket and several other games, other sports. So what is drawn? The meaning is drawn is a situation, a game that results neither in victory nor in defeat. So after all the moves in chess game, if the two participants cannot defeat the other one, then we can call it a situation drawn. The next word is elegy. Elegy is a literary word and it is a poem of lamentation. Lamentation is a poem about expressing grief. Usually, elegies are written after the demise of popular persons, lamenting their death. And we can see one image here to understand the concept well. So here is a poem written by the popular poet Thomas Gray, and the title of the poem is Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard. So here is an elegy. The word elegy is a poem which expresses the grief of the poet. The next word is epitaph. Epitaph is nothing but words which are inscribed on the grave or the tomb in the memory of the buried. So after the burial, there are some sentences or words inscribed on the tomb. Those words are called epitaph. Let's see one image. So here is the image of the grave of the poet W.B. Yeats, and here we can see the words cast a cold eye on life, on death, horsemen pass by. W. Yeats, born and the year of death. We can see it. This is all about epitaph. The next one is ephemeral, lasting one day. Anything that is short lived is called ephemeral. There are several flowers that are short lived. We can call them ephemeral. We can see one image here that best describes the word ephemeral. So here is a footprint in the sand on the beach of an ocean or a sea, and this footprint is ephemeral because when the tide comes to the shore it will be vanished. So we can call it ephemeral, that is short lived. We don't know till when it lasts. The next one is hunger. It has nothing to do with the word hunger. Hunger is different word, hanger is a different word. So here the word hangar means a place for housing aeroplanes. That means where the aeroplanes are placed in safe custody is called a hangar. Actually a big building or big warehouse, we can call it a big warehouse. Let's see the image. So here is a hangar. It's a big warehouse type structure. Here we can find an aeroplane which is in safe custody. Maybe it is under repair. The next one is immigrant. Here we need to understand the difference between immigrant and immigrant, immigration and immigration. Let's begin with the immigrant. A person who leaves his own country and goes to live in another country. That means if you are a citizen of India and if you leave for America, then you are called immigrant and you have to complete the formalities of immigration. And vice versa is immigration. That means if you come from America to India, then you are called immigrant and you need to complete the formalities of immigration. So let's not be confused with the words immigration and immigration, and you need to understand the subtle difference between these two words. Let's move on to the next one. Edible. Edible is nothing but eatable. Whenever you see the word edible, you just need to remember the word eatable. So something you can take it in, you can eat, that can be called edible. So the meaning is fit to be eaten or eatable. Not all the fruits and vegetables are edible. Some are edible and some are not edible. Here we can see an image, non-edible US plants and fruits. So we can see a fruit which is not edible, might be poisonous, and you should keep yourself away from it. The next one is egotism. Egotism is an inflated opinion of one's personal features and importance. If a person is boasting of himself and he thinks that he is the most important person, and regarding his intellectual ideas, his physical features, social and other estimations, if he thinks, if he makes overestimations about himself, then we can call it as egotism and we can call the particular person as egotist. The next one is encyclopedia. It's a very popular word. Encyclopedia is a book that contains information on various subjects. Actually, it's a ocean of knowledge. We can call it a treasure house of knowledge. We can find all the information that we are looking for in the particular book or in the particular series of books. This is called encyclopedia. And the most popular encyclopedia that we can see is Encyclopedia Britannica. So there are so many volumes in the series. Let's see the image of Encyclopedia Britannica. So here is the image. By looking at the image, we can see at least we have 29 volumes, and it's an impossible task to complete all the volumes, obviously. So the next word is epicure. The one word substitute is epicure. The meaning is one who is devoted to the pleasure of eating and drinking. So everyone has their priorities. One likes watching movies, one likes playing cricket, and epicure is a person who loves eating and drinking and he takes pleasure in eating and drinking. This is called epicure. That person is called an epicure. And the next word is florist. It's a very simple word. One who deals in flowers. Florist is a person who sells flower bouquets, and whenever we are in need of them, we go to the florist and we purchase them. So, as simple as that, florist is a person who sells flowers. The next word is fastidious. Fastidious is a person or a character trait, and the meaning is one who is very selective in one's taste, or a person who is excessively particular, or a person who is difficult to please. Fastidious persons are very selective about their taste. They are excessively particular. They never try new things. They are always conservative and they are difficult to please. We can't make them happy. We can't make them satisfied. And the next one is fanatic or bigot. Fanatic is a person who is filled with excessive and mistaken enthusiasm in religious matters. So, if a person has too much enthusiasm, excessive enthusiasm, who is not interested in reasoning, that means he is not interested in intellectual debates but he is stubborn, then we can call him a fanatic or a bigot. It is difficult to argue with a bigot or a fanatic because they are not willing to understand your arguments, they are not willing to accept your arguments. And nowadays we can find so many fanatics on the social media and it is difficult to counter them. And the next one is fatal. Fatal is something related to death, something that causes death is called fatal. There are several fatal diseases, fatal accidents. Let's see an image. Here is an image we can find in the on the internet and the title says, is pulmonary hypertension a fatal disease? Among the diseases, some are fatal and some are not. For example, if we have cough, simple cough, normal cough, that is not fatal. But here we are referring to a particular disease called pulmonary hypertension, and that article discusses about whether the particular disease is fatal or not. So we don't know actually. If we go through the article, we come to know whether the particular disease is fatal or not. The next word is fatalist. Fatalist is a person who believes in fate. Fatalists always believe that the outcome is predetermined. That means whatever we do, it is already decided by the karma or the god or the fate. The consequences of fatalistic attitude or the theory of fatalism can be positive or negative. If it has positive attitude, people believe that it is already determined, their fate is already determined, they believe in god, they work hard and they achieve their goals. Sometimes it may have a negative impact also. When fatalistic attitude is in negative nature, people become lazy and become pessimistic and they feel that if it is written in their fate, the result will automatically come and I don't have to do anything. So this leads in laziness and pessimistic nature, and eventually they will lose, they will fail. Fatalism is related to Indian karma theory, so that we need to understand. The next word is facsimile. The meaning is an exact copy of handwriting, printing, etc. So facsimile is something that is an exact copy of handwriting or signature or something. Fauna, the animals of a certain region. Flora and fauna is often used in a combination and it is a very popular expression and it already became a cliche. So what is flora and fauna? Flora is a word, the plants of a particular region. Flora, we can remember the word flower. Flora and flower are similar. So we can remember that flora is something related to flowers. The plants of a particular region, flowers come from plants, so we can remember that. And when we come back to fauna, fauna is the animals of a certain region. The animals which are found in a particular region are called fauna. So flora and fauna are related to the subject biology, the living things, the plants and the animals. The next one is fratricide. Remember the root word CID is side. Side means to kill. That's why there are so many words that include the root word CID is side, like suicide, homicide, infanticide, pesticide, like these words. So let's analyze what are these words. First we will begin with the root word CID, that is side means to kill. So fratricide, Fratry means fraternity. We can remember the word fraternity, that means brotherhood. And fratricide means to kill your brother, that means the murder of brother. And suicide, su means self, side means kill. If you kill yourself, that is called suicide. And pesticide, that means killing pests. And infanticide, killing an infant, is called infanticide. Matricide, patricide, all these words originate from the root word side. So if you can remember the root word side, CIDE, then you can easily remember the words associated with the root word side. Let's move on to the next one, that is fugitive. Fugitive is a person who runs away from justice or the law. So if you run away from prison, that means a prison break, or if you run away from police custody, then you are called fugitive. Fugitive is a person who runs away from the law. And the next word is fragile. Fragile is a very popular word and the meaning is easily broken. Something which is easily broken is called fragile, and the best example are glass, ceramic things. Let's see one image to understand what is fragile. So here is a announcement or a notice which we can find in packages or parcels. And here we can see the word fragile. Please handle with care. That means the article which is inside the package is fragile. So you need to deal with it very carefully. You have to handle it with it very carefully. This way up means you have to open the package from this side. So this is all about fragile. The next one, feminist. In the grammar also we might have learnt about feminine gender, masculine gender. Feminine is something related to women and masculine is something related to men. So the word feminist is something related to women. Let's see the meaning. Feminist is a person one who works for the welfare of the women. Obviously we don't find equality of men and women in the society. Almost all the societies in all over the world are patriarchal. That means the domination of men we can see. So we can say that the women are not at all equally treated as men. Feminist is a person who works for the welfare and empowerment of women. And the next one is granary. Granary is a word which is related to the word grains, that means food grains. And the meaning is granary is a place for grains. Where the grains are stored is called a granary. Let's see one conventional storehouse of grains, that is a conventional granary. So in this image we can see a woman is looking into the granary or probably taking out some grains, and it's a conventional one, traditional one, not a modern one. Modern ones are completely different and they run with technology and electricity. They need electricity. And the next one is genocide. Just now we learnt about the word side, the root word CID, side, that means to kill. So genocide means the murder of a race. So if you kill a huge number of people belonging to a particular race, then we can call it genocide. Unfortunately, in the world history, we can find so many instances of genocide. People has to migrate from one place to other place to keep themselves alive. So this is a sad picture of it, the result of the genocide, mass graves, and we can see a woman lamenting about her loss.